When I was in college and I was raped, I didn't go to the police because I didn't trust that I would get anything but being re-victimized. I thought that I would be blamed, that they would ask me things like, what were you wearing or were you drinking? Instead of questions that might have helped them solve the crime. But if there's anything that gives me a little bit of hope, it's that 10 years ago, that would have been the end of the story.
Hey guys, so I was informed about this questions and answers episode by one of my followers on my last video, or commenters, or whatever you want to call them. I have a few problems with this and I haven't even finished the video and I already have a few things to say. This chick is not from Australia. She is clearly American or Canadian or something. I always get their accents mixed up. She said that her rape happened 10 years ago. Now, I can empathize with that. It was just after my 18th birthday and I'm 28 now. She didn't go to the police and she says the reasons were because she didn't trust any police. So I thought I'd talk about why I have a problem with that, because to say that the rape system, like to talk on the rape system and all that kind of stuff, and you haven't even gone through the system itself is a little bit hypocritical if you ask me. As somebody who 10 years ago went through the system, I can actually talk about this. I didn't get to the court case part because I was going through medical issues where I was getting seizures and stuff like that a lot, and we deemed it actually more important for my health to just simply report it rather than go through the court system and get him charged. Because I was in and out of hospital, that is also another reason where it's a little bit like they don't know if they could really trust me in the court system to not like have any physical issues or to not stumble upon things. And there was the case that I was going through some memory issues due to my absence seizures. And so because I had absence seizures, they couldn't exactly explain that without having my story with a bit of doubt. What happened with us is because there's a relative in my family who's a cop. He passed us a number who we were referred to these people, and so we contacted these people. Now it was two women, I can't remember their name, but they were so nice. They were strict with their questions, but they were nice. The first thing we did was sit down right next to my computer going through my MSN messages, right? Because firstly, my boyfriend at the time who had done it and I had spoken about it on MSN since, because obviously it's a little bit shocking, and I broke up with him on MSN after the incident. So yeah, there's that. But we spoke about it on MSN, and so these ladies, because I still had my MSN window open, because I'm one of those people who don't close anything on computers. I'm really abusive to my computers, but yeah. We were basically going through the messages. They read everything. They could read into how awkward the conversation was. They read that, they saw that he acknowledged what happened, he was drunk, all that kind of stuff. And that did help me a bit. I'm not gonna lie and say that didn't help me at all with them believing me. But from the get-go, like before they even did that, they asked me questions like, had I been drinking? Was I on any medication? And all of that kind of stuff, because they have to ask these questions. The reason why they have to ask these questions is because essentially you can actually ruin somebody's life even if they're innocent. A female can ruin a man's life by calling rape, even if they're innocent. They have to prove without a doubt that it happened, and they're preparing you for questions that may be asked on the court case, because the court case is not going to be as nice. They're going to full-blown break down everything so they can get as much evidence as they can, and it's not to attack you, it's to help you. That night I was taken to the hospital to get what is called a rape kit done. So it's very similar to a pap smear, if that makes sense. So they get somebody, a woman, to look at your genitals and do a swab kind of thing to see for DNA. They took my underwear and my sheets as like evidence as well. They gave the underwear back. I found that a little bit weird. I was just like, no, you can keep them. There's a lot of things that like happened from that moment where I had to go into the police office. I think it was about a week later, while we sat there and we wrote out a little document about what happened, because that's when I was like, I've got more tests to go do, like I'm freaking out. And they could see that I was freaking out because I was like really ill. They recommended that I do a report rather than go through the court system because of my medical conditions at the time. That means that the person, if they do an incident again, or if they're accused again, then they can call upon me as a witness later, and they can also use that evidence that they had from me in the later case to say, well, he has a repeat history. To me, it doesn't necessarily mean that like the court system is bad, because yes, they do ask you about if you've been drinking, because if you're drunk, there's a chance that you consented, and they've even changed that now. But the law is more like, if you're drinking, it's considered rape now because you can't consent over a certain limit of alcohol. And they've got all these things that are like there to support women who are raped. Like for instance, there are counseling groups and stuff like that. I did a little bit of counseling. I think I went 3 times and then I was admitted to hospital, so I stopped doing the counseling. But I didn't find the counseling very helpful because I felt okay. I think the good thing about not being healthy is I had this distraction. So I had to focus on my health, and then as time went by I was like, oh yeah, that happened. But the reason why people who are raped don't go to court cases, that's not because the court system is bad. To me, I feel like if you don't go to the court system because you've heard rumors of what the court system's like, that's not really fair to blame society. Now, yes, I agree, society does have an issue when it comes to the court system. The issue is more the side of, if a woman is raped, or claims to be raped even, if a woman claims to be raped and she hasn't actually been raped, right? Say the cases of two 15-year-old kids, and then she's like, oh shit, I'm pregnant, I was raped, kind of thing, to tell her parents. So if she comes out and says she's raped, right, she can tell all her friends on social media, oh yeah, that happened, and she would have to kind of support the lie. People, they can be vicious. So if somebody has raped somebody else, right, then it's fair enough for their social life to be destroyed and all that. But imagine if a guy has not raped somebody and she claimed he did. Now she's told everybody on Facebook, Twitter, all of that kind of stuff that he has, and she gets the sympathy card. He gets hated by everybody, and that follows him through life even if he's innocent, because people just believe the chick even if she's lying. And that's the whole reason why the court has this system, because if the court didn't have this system, then they wouldn't be able to necessarily prove it. Think about it this way, if it ruins a guy's life and there's very little evidence, but they're like, oh, she's female, she was raped, kind of thing, don't you think that's really unfair if he didn't do it? So they've got to go through this system to collect as much evidence and data, and it's invasive because it's your physical body that this has happened to. So it's not like they're going and checking like damage of like your house or anything like that. They're checking the damage on your physical body. Oh, I'm just going to come out and say it, whether or not your whole vagina and all of that system down there is damaged. there will be damage sometimes if there's a lot of physical restraint. If you're pushing away and all that, you can get tears. Now, if you're innocent, right, and the chick hasn't gotten any tears or anything, she's claiming that she was drunk and all that, and like they literally ask if you were drunk to find out if you have been inebriated beyond point, by the way, to like, because if you're blind drunk, then like if somebody's drugged you, there's actually some really good movies out there about when girls have been drugged and drunk and then they wake up and they're like, oh shit, I've been raped. And there's some really good movies perspectives of it. And like, I can't remember, it's like Lime Life or something like that, the YouTube channel that does those movies. But there was this one where there was this really popular chick, she was a cheerleader, and she woke up and found out, like at a party, and found out that she had been raped. And she knew that she had been raped, but nobody believed her because there was a video of a clip of her saying,
"What is it? Oh my god, it's from 2:30 a.m. that night.
I want to take on all of you. Every single one."
The full clip of the video came out. It actually said, like, it was her drunk and she was drugged up, and she was like,
I think I want to take on all of you. Every single one. This is not what I want. This is not what I want.
it was pretty powerful to show how things can be manipulated on social media and how the victim can be blamed due to that manipulation, but the same goes for the other side as well. Anyway, I think that that's why the court system is designed the way that it is, and I think it's fair. And as somebody who has been through some of the system, I think that I know a little bit more than this woman about what goes on.